Hello, welcome to our third video or our third class on this 6 months internship program. I'm sorry for the noise you are hearing. The school beside me are having some competition, so this noise might distort what you are hearing, but I think we should still be good for the class. Okay, now today we'll be learning about Bootstrap and how Bootstrap work. Now Bootstrap is part of the package you see on the platform, so it's part of your training material. So when you download it, all you just have to do is extract it for you to have a file like this. So here you have CSS and JavaScript. So all I just have to do is make sure this Bootstrap folder is present inside the folder of my website. So in this case, internship. So I'll just copy this Bootstrap and put it in here. So make sure the folder where all your website files are, make sure the Bootstrap folder is also there. So that's very important. If not, most of what I will be doing won't work. Okay, so once you've done that, I can now go back to my code. Okay, so I won't be working with any of the file we've worked with the last time. So what I'll just write is that I already have my Bootstrap. So two things I need for me to be able to use Bootstrap is to connect Bootstrap CSS to my website and also connect their JavaScript. Okay, so let me just quickly explain what Bootstrap is. Now Bootstrap is a library whereby it's built using HTML and CSS. So it enables you to write less code in HTML and also write less code in JavaScript to be able to have some functionalities you need or you want your website to have. So what I'll do is, I already have this, is to connect them. So I'll just quickly create an HTML file called Bootstrap. So for those using the text editor I'm using, just click on this button here. I'll be able to create so let me just call this Bootstrap. So that is where all my file will be. So bootstrap.html. So in here I'll just let me not split the screen this time around. So let me just bring Bootstrap here and close everything I have here. So my screen is not split. So let me only work with the files I need. So let me just put my HTML shortcode. So I'll just do my apostrophe tab, then I get that. Okay, so yeah, let me just change this to Bootstrap. So Bootstrap, then save. So if I come to be very sure I have my document working. Okay, so I have my Bootstrap working. So the next thing I need to do is to create my own CSS. So for this, should I use style? Okay, let me just create a new CSS file. So I'll just do new and say, let me call it Bootstrap. Okay, let me call this my Bootstrap so that I can separate them. My Bootstrap .css. So this is my own CSS file, so which I can use to add my own CSS code. So I just have to do is to include my CSS code now. So I'll just do link, select CSS and indicate. So sorry for that. So this should be CSS slash then my CSS. Okay, so now for me to include Bootstrap, the CSS, I have to make sure the link tag for the Bootstrap comes above my own original CSS. So in this case, I have to now indicate where the Bootstrap is. So I'll do Bootstrap. Then inside Bootstrap, I'll go to their CSS. Now there are different files here. The one you look for is just bootstrap.min.css. So I'll look for their bootstrap.min.css, so you can see it here. So this is the one I need to include for me to have the access to the CSS library. Now the next thing I need to do is to add what we call their JavaScript, so that I have access to their JavaScript file. Now when we get to JavaScript, I'll explain why this is being done at the bottom. So I'm going to use a new script for a new tag called the script tag. So I'm going to indicate the source. So here I'll say I'm going to Bootstrap. So that should be Bootstrap. If I'm spelling well, CRAP. Then inside Bootstrap, I'm going to JavaScript. So JS. Then inside that JS, I'll look for their js.bootstrap.min.js. So all I just have to do is to close this. Okay, so this is how I connect Bootstrap to my file. Okay, so let me start by creating a div tag that will have a class of, let's call, the first one I'll be touching is container and container fluid. So I want the class name to be container. Then inside this Bootstrap, I'm going to have a paragraph tag. So let me just say this is to test our bootstrap files. Now container should give me a little bit of padding. So if for me to make this work, let me add my own code. Let me just call this my container so that it works identical. So in my container, in my own bootstrap, I'll select my container. Then I'm going to add border to it. So I'll do border 1 pixel solid black so that you see the effect as it works. So I'm going to save this, make sure my 2 files is saved, and I'm going to come then refresh this. Now by default, when I'm doing container, bootstrap gives me this extra space here. So you can see where my box is starting from to where it ends. So it creates a padding and a margin for me by default. But if I use container fluid, so container fluid just simply means I want it all in full screen. So container fluid. So if I save, come back here, you now notice, check what happens. You can now see that my content is taking the full width. So I can determine if I want my content to have spacing without me writing margin padding myself by just doing this, or if I want them to have, I don't want any spacing. So I can either use any of, all you just have to do when it comes to bootstrap is to know their values. So once you know the value of what you want to do, then you don't have any problem. So in this case, let me use container fluid. So I can do container fluid and at the same time do div. Then this should have class of, let's say, okay, for those that want to understand the shortcuts, I'm doing div. So div is saying create me a div tag. This dot is saying I want it to have a class attribute. Then what the value of that class attribute is what I'm just typing. So I'll just say I want it to be container. So then if I want another one, I'm not too sure, let me just try this. My second container, if it will give me 2. So as you can see, it's not. So container, so this gives me what I want. So if I want a different, to have 2 different values, I can just do my second container. Okay, so that you can see the effect. So why I'm doing this is for you to know you can use more than one, what is it called, more than one. I can use both the container field and the container in one swap. So if I refresh this, now you can see my content is being adjusted. So for you to see how it adjusts, I know you saw it, let me just include another border to it so that you can see that. So I can just come here and do the same thing. Okay, let me combine no, because I'm giving them different colors, so it won't make me have what I want. So let me just copy this border. Then this time around the color should be red. So instead of me doing black, I will do red. So if I come, you can now see the difference between the 2 of them. So I can do as much as I want. So okay, another thing I can do there is I can change the color of the text. Now for me to do that, I can just come to text, which is the paragraph. I'll do class. Then I can just do, if I'm picking you right, color red. So if I save this, hope I picked the right value. Refresh. Okay, I think I did not get that. I'll come back to that. Okay, with the color, I think I'll get back to that. Okay, I can do a background to this. So I can decide I want a background. So I can do BG dark. This should give me a dark background. If I'm picking that very well also. Okay, I think that should be text color. Okay, I think this black is not working. I'm thinking instead of black, let me do, I put the have red. Okay, let me stick to black, to dark. Then let me select you and say I want your color manually to be red, depending when I get that color. So red. Okay, let me do white because I'm doing black. So this will give me, did I do background? I said color white. Okay, I think let me just pick the paragraph. Except I fail to do something, save that file. Why am I going front and back? So I might fail to save this guy. So that should now return my Okay, so that gives me my white and my black background. So I can decide to leave it instead of on the second to make it be on the first. So this can just easily be, instead of me having the BG tag here, I can just say, okay, I want the BG tag. Okay, now to make this work, let me just put the BG tag on the main container. Then I can do something like this, BG light. So BG minus light. Then I can come to this and return this to black so that I have my text showing. So black. So if I come back, refresh, now you can see I'm having this white, so I can just easily remove my border. So I have this. Okay, another thing I can just easily do is this also. So I can decide to increase the amount of div I have. So let me just comment this one out. Now the best way I'll go about this is I want to have about 10 divs. So I'll do div and I'll do apostrophe, then I want 10. So this will create me 10 divs. Okay, so that one's fine. So I want them to have right up, so I can just easily do 1. I can come here and do 2. Then I can do 3. I should have done classes to them. Okay, no problem. 4, 5, 6, 7, EIGHC 8, 9, then 10. Okay, now there's something in CSS that is called, so let me show I have these guys. Okay, now there's something in CSS called the, what is the name of this property name again? Media query. Now I explained to you how you can easily use media query. Now media query has to do with you checking on every screen and how you want your website to look like. Now Bootstrap makes that very easy to achieve. Now for you to do that, for example, I want to have different values to do that. So for me to do that, let me just quickly do this. So 2 things you need when you want to use the media query of Bootstrap is to have a range, 2 containers. So the first one would have the word, okay, let me call this, okay, the container should have the word role. So once you have role, then if you're not trying to use Bootstrap media query to work, so without the role it won't work. So one thing you should have is you should always have the container role that is holding every other container that you want to use the media query for. It makes it easier for you to work with it. So I'll show you the difference. Now for me to do that, I'll do a class. Then in this class I'm going to do call. Now when it comes to Bootstrap, there are 4 things you need to know. So let me just quickly do that as a comment. So let me just write that as a comment. So bring that down. So there is LG, which is standing for large. So large simply means laptops. So it's for laptops. So although there are extra, there is XL also, which stands for extra large. Extra large, which is also laptops sizes. So laptop size. So this also laptop size. Okay, so there is medium, which is MD, which stands for medium, which is the size of tablet size. So there is the SM, which is standing for small, which is called the font size. So now I don't want to give you the exact file because I expect you to already know your media query based on the CSS file you already have. So then the last one is the XL, which is extra small. So extra small. So these are also font sizes. Font sizes. Okay, so this is one thing I want. So the first thing for you to be able to use Bootstrap query, or let me use media queries, to start with the word call. Now Bootstrap takes the full screen to be from 0 to 12. So the highest you can go when you want it to take the full screen is to put 12, and the lowest is 10. So when you are doing, you have to do in between this number. So I can say, okay, for example, I want these 3 to be beside themselves, then I want the remaining ones to be under. So meaning I have to divide this 12 into 3 because I'm dealing with 3 files. So here I will say on last screen I want you to take 4. So if I copy this code, I can just repeat it twice. Hope I'm doing this, copying this guy right. So when I add 12 into 3 different places, they give me 4 into 3 different places, they give me 12. So if I save this, come back here and refresh, you can now see that I'm having 1, I'm having 2, I'm having 3. I think the best thing for me to do is look for the one I have border. So my container is the one having me border. So let me just add my container to all of them, so that it's easier. So my container, then my container, so that they have that border for you to see the difference. My container. Okay, so if I come back, I can have my border for you to see what is happening. Okay, now like I said, the highest is 12. So because when you add 4 here to this 4 here to this 4 here, it gives you 12. So what happens when I reduce them? So if I reduce them to 3, 3, 3, this is not up to 4, not up to 12 again. So there will be space here to take more information. So I can still occupy that space. So I'm missing 3. I can turn this to 6. So 6 plus 3, 9 plus 3, 12. So the one with 1 will have more space than the one with 2 and 3. So I can go ahead and decide to do the same thing for this before I now explain how to do the remaining one. So the fourth one, I can say, okay, I want you to take the full width of the screen, so 12 here. So if I come back, refresh, the fourth one will take the full width, which you can see here. So I can decide to do margin bottom. Okay, let me do margin top. Margin top, let me do 4. I create this, I'm picking the right. Okay, yeah. So this creates me space. I think 4 is too much. Can I do 2? Okay, thank you. So the next thing I want to do, I want 5, 6, 7, 8 to be beside themselves. So all I just have to do is on 5, I'm going to paste, I'm going to paste, I'm going to paste, then I'm going to paste. Okay, so this time around I'll change. Okay, I think 3, 3 is the best, so that gives me 12. So if I refresh, I have these guys beside themselves, so I can just do margin bottom. So margin bottom, if I do 1 is for 10, meaning 10 pixels, 2 is for 20 pixels, 3 is for 30, 4 is for 40 when it comes to margin and padding. So that creates me that space under. So MB is for margin top, MB is for, so all these are the ones I know of, and there are a lot of them, so I can't cover all. So that's why you also have the material to be able to. Okay, so I want the next two, which is the 9 and 10, to take the full width. So I'll just copy what I have here to put for 9 and 10. So I'm going to do the same thing here, then I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, so this will take the full width and there will be spaces separating them. Okay, so now I want, when I reduce my screen, I want these guys to change how this. So I want, okay, let's say when I get to the laptop screen, I want them to be 2, 2, 2, 2 on the line, so they will come down like that instead of 5, 5. So instead of the way I split them, so I'll now say here, I'll say call, when you get to the what is it called again, when you get to on tablet, I want you to be 6. So all I just have to do is to repeat this code everywhere, because I want the same thing for everybody. So I'll say, okay, I want on tablet, I want you to be 6. You know I'm doing MD, you can see this is for tablet size. So I'll come to the next one, I want you to be 6, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, so if I save, if I come on full screen, which is on laptop, there won't be any difference. Now what happens when I reduce the screen and try to reduce my browser? Now there's where to get to. You can now see that 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then when I adjust again, the changes how they look like. So reduces changes. You can see then they stay underneath themselves. This is on font, so I can determine how I want them to also be on font. So that is one thing Bootstrap gives you when it comes to media query, for you to decide the position of your text also. Okay, so there's other things I can touch. Okay, I think let me open the website for us to be able to pick some of them and include them to our code. Okay, let me make this full screen so we'll be able to see what I'm working on. So if I just click on okay, so from the website I'm going to go to Bootstrap. I'm spelling .com. I can see if I'm spelling well. So okay, it's open there. So once you come up, all I just have to do is come to their documentation. So this is where I have everything I need, so I don't need to get started. So these are their menus. So I need to go down to where I have components. So this is where the component I need to work with. Okay, I'll try to pick some of this. Okay, let's start with navbar. So how we can create navigation. So let's just have to do is to copy their code and move it to my own. So if I just scroll down, I can see different kind of navigation they have and the codes to create that navigation. So let me just look for one that I think will work for what I need. So like I said, just to go to that, okay, I think this will work. So what I'll just do is to copy this their code here, so you can see copy to clipboard. Then I'll come to my own page. So above all this, so above this I'm going to create my navigation. So inside my body tag, let me just take out this, I don't need that for now. So I'm going to create a section tag. So inside this section tag I'm going to put the code I copied. Okay, so this is the code. Now if I save, then come to my browser, then come to Bootstrap refresh. If I save this document, Control S. Okay, so if I come back, refresh, now you can now see I'm having this menu. Now I can go to any of them. If I reduce my screen to a mobile phone size, so you can see that the menu is not showing. So in my case there should be a button here, so that brings up the menu. So probably because I was doing the color of white. Okay, so I can change whatever I want to change from here. So let me just navigate. Okay, let me remove the color of, okay, I think that should be fine. So I can add more menus to it. I can indicate where I want them to go to when they go to home. So these are a tags, these are lists. All I just need to do is to look for which of them. All you just have to pay attention is the value inside the class attribute. So if I want more, for example, so let me just say I want home, I can change their features to about. So then if I say, okay, if I don't want this, I can just easily take this out. Probably I don't want this. Then if I save, I can come back, then refresh. So I can create the menu to what I want. So apart from that, okay, let me see, I can decide to change the color of the menu, but I want you to try and figure that out yourself. All you just have to do is include another class to your a tag. So let's just say mine. So inside the a tag, then you now go to your own CSS and pick your attribute and change like we did previously, but I don't want to stress myself doing that. Okay, so if I save, what else can I pick from their menu? So if I come back to, so let me go back to full screen. If I go back, I think I should just close this guy. Okay, I think let me leave it up screen so that I can just easily know. I want to increase you. Okay, so what else can I touch from this? So that's for navigation. Okay, I think I want to create a moving background. So in moving background, we'll call it carousel, so which is this. So I want a background as my image, so it's like a slideshow. So for me to do that, let me just navigate down. So there's the first slide, there's second slide, there's third slide. This takes images. So let me scroll down also. Okay, I think this has a button also, so let me use this. So I'll copy this, then come to my code, then down that section. So inside this section, I'm going to now put that code. So then I save. So if I come here, refresh, I should have that. Okay, now the images I'm using are not showing, so let me just quickly get images. So to get images, let me use Pixabay. I think my text is working. Okay, all I just have to do is to go to pixabay.com. So those are where I can get quality images from. So I'll just pick any 2 or 3 images I'm seeing there. So let me just go down here. I can search for a particular type of image I want, but I don't want to stress myself for that. So I'll scroll down. Okay, I think let me pick this one. So I'll select. Then I come to free download and I select this. Okay, let me just select one to buy. So if you want to select, either you select this or this, don't select this one. The 600, the 640 by 440 won't be big enough for what you want. Either 1280 or 19020. Okay, so I just have to do download. Is there another thing I need to do? I need to download the robot. Then palm trees. Is under palm tree. Is there another one? I think there's one here. Then let me just accept all their cookies, then verify. Okay, so there's an error somewhere. So crossroad there, here, then here. Okay, so I can go ahead and download this. Okay, so I have my first download. So I can just scroll down. I think I need about 3 pictures. So let me pick this also. Then when you are downloading, please make sure you are selecting the same sizes. So I think I have to verify you also. Palm trees. What did I do with you guys with palm trees? I think there's one here. Okay, then download. So I need one more. So if I scroll down, I can get the third one. So Pixabay is one of the sites you get quality pictures from, and they are for free. They give you quality pictures. Okay, let me go for this. So all I just have to do is download, select the same size, then indicate I'm not a robot. Crossroad. So there's one here, one here, then one there. Motorbikes. Guys are joking, right? Okay, so I can then download. Okay, so I have to move this into my images folder. So to make that much more easier for me, I'm going to go to my download, then I'll try to rename these images. So this first one, I'll name it 1 so that it's easier for me to work with. The second one, I'll name it 2, and the third one, I'll name it 3. Okay, so I can just easily move them into my folder. So I'll cut this, come to internship, come to images, and put them in here. Okay, so I have my images. I'll have to confirm the extension, but I think they are all JPG. So all I just have to do is come to where I have the image tag. So these are the image tag. This is the first image, the second image, the third image. So I'll just change their source to my own source. So in this case I want you to go into images. So I'll just indicate images, then select the second one, and this is for the third image. So I'll do images. Okay, let me just copy this guy. I think my system decided to misbehave, then put it here. So change this. So if I'm picking my number site, okay, so if I save this document now, let me just close all these guys popping up. So if I save this document, come to my browser, refresh. Now you can now see that I'm having this image that has this button. Sorry for that I can easily use to scroll out of it. So you can also see the button here. Okay, so I think there is one there that has, let me just connect back to my internet. I think there is one there that has write up, in case I want the one of write up, because currently you can see this one does not give me the space to do write up. So if I scroll to it, so I only have the next and previous, but there is no space for write up, just text. Okay, so like I said, I don't need to understand all this code. All I just have to do is copy and change what I need to be changed. Okay, so let me try refresh this. Okay, sorry for what you're saying. I need to restart my system because it was misbehaving anytime I'm typing. So that's why I have to reload all these guys again. So I think my internet has not connected. Why is that? So if I connect you, okay, so if I scroll down, I can just easily look for the one that has text, because there's the one that has text also. So this is the one I'm talking about. So I can just easily copy this code and use it to replace the one I have. So let me just minimize this from here, then use it to replace the code I just did for them. So Ctrl V. Okay, so if I save, now I have to put those images back so that my text can show. So to save me the stress, I want to repeat these guys. So I'm going to come to this, then select the third one, so I can just delete them once. Okay, so I can just do images, then picked one, so I can just easily come here and change this to 2, then change this to 3. So if I save this, come back to my code, refresh, I still have the same images, but this time around I'm having the text there now. So I can now decide what I want the text to be. So I can decide to change H1, H5 to H1. So I think this is the fourth one, right? The third one. So I can just navigate up and include. So I can change this. I want this to be H1 so that the text looks a little bit much more bigger. So I can change this to just web development. Then I can leave that. Let me just scroll down to the second one. So second slide label, I'll do graphics design. Then I can come to the third one and convert this to H1 also. So I don't want to use the H5 they are using, so I can just change this to digital marketing. So if I'm spelling my marketing well, marketing ing. Okay, so if I come back, refresh, I have the content there changed. So if I go to the next one, the next one. Okay, what else can I add to this? If I want to add more content to this, I can do that. Okay, so to do that, let me say I want to add button. So I'll come to their button and see how their button looks like. So these are different one I can use. I can just copy any of these. For this case, let me just copy, I think I prefer the danger. Okay, let me work with the success. So I'll just copy the code for the success, then come to my own code and put it underneath the paragraph. So instead of success, I'll just do the word learn more. So with this, I'll write less CSS and I can easily create websites for people using HTML and CSS. So I can just scroll down, add the button to this also. So if I save, come back here, refresh. So if I come to my website, and you can now see I have a button learn more, so I can navigate. So if I want this to take them to a new page, not to submit anything, instead of using button, I can just change the tag. So instead of button, I'll do a tag, then instead of type, I'll do href. So I'll do href, then I can say, okay, I want you to go to .in. I don't have this file yet, so it's just for practice purpose. So my closing tag should be an a tag. So I can just copy this. So I still have the same button style, but this time around it will take me to a different web page instead of me using button if I don't want to. So like I said, what is important when it comes to Bootstrap is to use the class attributes and the values they are using. So if I scroll up, I can just easily change this one too. Okay, so if I come refresh, okay, so I still have the same thing, nothing changes, but you can now see this is taking me to where I have not a file I have not created yet. Okay, so I need to create the second section of my website. So in this part, I don't need the under part, I don't need the down part, so that was for practice purpose. I can just easily take them out. So to help me, I'm going to create another section. So inside this section, I'm going to do a class and create a little bit of space. So I'm going to do margin top and I'm going to do it 5. So I have 50 pixels margin top to create space between these two sections. Okay, so I want, okay, let me just quickly show you what I want to achieve. I want, so if I save this, hope I've saved this properly. So I want, after this slideshow, on the left hand side I have some text, on the right hand side I have an image. So I'll just simply do this. I'm going to do a div, then this div will have a class of container. So if I do my tab, I get that. Then I'm going, sorry, this should be container fluid, not container fluid. Then I'm going to do on that div, then this will be container. So container, then I have that. So I need the role, so I'm going to do a div role. Then inside the role I need to div, so that one on the left, one on the right. So I'm going to do div, then div, then I'm going to do a class of call large, because I want them beside themselves 6, so I need 2 of it, so I'll just do times 2. So this gives me what I want. So let me just write 1, then 2, just to be sure this is working. So 2, then if I save, come to my browser, refresh. So if I scroll down, I have my 1, then I have my 2, then I have my space I created, which is the padding. But this time around I want write-ups. So on the left hand side, like I said, I want write-ups, so I'll remove the one I did here. So let me just do an h1 tag, then here I'll write about us. So I want this centered, so let me just add it to this. So I'll just do text center to center my text to the center of my screen. So if I come refresh, so you can see about us is at the center of the part I'm working on. Okay, so I can just easily do what else, paragraph. So I want a little bit of space, so I'll do class in the h1, then I'm going to do padding bottom, then let me just do 2. Sorry, that should be B, not D. So padding bottom, so let me just do lorem for the write up. So I'm going to save, come back, refresh. So if I scroll down, I have my text and I have this space. Now this space is created based on what I just did here. So if I remove this class, let's see if there will be any changes. So if I come back, refresh, you can now see that my about us move a little bit closer to my text. So if I leave it back, if I increase this to 4 so that you see the changes very well, if I refresh, you can now see that there's space between my about then the text itself. Okay, so what else do I need here? Okay, let me just make the text twice. So I'm going to do this then I'm going to do lorem. So in case you are saying how did I go about lorem, if I click on this, it automatically gets me the lorem, or I just hit my tab key on my keyboard and it gives me a gibberish word. Okay, what else do I need? I think that's for that. So if I save this, okay, I don't want my text here. For the paragraph, I don't want it to be at the center, so which is what you are seeing here. I want the alignment to be on the left hand side, so I can just easily come to this and do class, then I do text left, or I can just do justified. I'm spelling right. So if I save this, let me be sure I'm using the right words. Okay, so not the right word, so let me just use left. So left, so that will align my text to the left hand side. Okay, I don't know why. Okay, I think because this guy is overriding what I have, so let me just take it out of here, then bring it here. So I think that should solve my problem. Hope I did not take anything out. I think I took something out. Okay, so start from text center. I think this guy is overriding my codes. So if I change the position, okay, yeah, so I can just easily say, okay, I want you to be justified. So let me check justify. So that should balance my text. Okay, I think I'm getting the justify wrong, so let me just leave it on left. Okay, so I'm done with the paragraph. Do I need more space for my paragraph? I think I'm fine. So the next thing is to get me pictures. So let me just go back to Pixabay, then get me another picture which I can put in. Okay, so I can just search for man, or let me search for about. So this time around I can scroll down and look for a picture that's not that difficult. Okay, I think let me use this. So with this I'll download a smaller picture. So I'll just select the smallest one here, then I do download. So I have this, so I'll have to now move it also to, so if I come to download, replace it to 4, then move it to my images, so I can just easily add it to it. So on the other side, okay, now Bootstrap also have their images, so I think let me use that so that we can work together. So if I'm picking you right, okay, if you don't see, you can just easily come, there's where they have their search here, so I can just do images. So responsive image, I can easily get the content. So if I scroll down, so they have different codes for images, so let me just copy this. So I can just put that for my 2, instead of 2 I want images, so then I put indicate the image name. So in this case images, then the 4th one. So if I save, come back here, refresh, so then I have my images. So there's the image on the left and there's the one on the right. Okay, what else can I touch? Okay, I think I'm good to go. Okay, let me create one more section, then I think we'll be done with. Okay, what else can I get from Bootstrap? So like I said, I want you to go to the documentation, or you can just visit the official website and get some information from there. So which one is very, very important that I think I can just easily show you guys again? So I'm trying to just pick. Okay, let me do a log. Okay, no, that shouldn't, that would take. So I've done carousel, drop down. Trying to find one that I know we use often when it comes to websites, and see how good it would be while working. Come on, place order, progress. I think you can just go to them and have a better view of how they work. I'm just trying to look for one that would benefit. Okay, let's go to color. So what I was missing there when I was trying to do my color is how to pick the right color. So this is the one for the text. So I'm kind of surprised. I should have examples. Okay, so let me scroll up. Do I see anyone here? So I'm saying text primary emphasis. Okay, let me see what this is saying. Let me just copy this code and put it on our paragraph code and see if there's any changes. So I'm going to do class, and I'm going to include that. Then let me see what that does. Okay, there's no changes to it. I'm kind of surprised their colors not giving me something. Using the new colors, kind of surprised. Okay, color modes, except if I'm picking the wrong guy. So let me see their color modes. Okay, I want you to go to the documents because of time, and say, so if you have any question, just leave it on the platform. I will attend to that. Alright, thank you all. I'll see you in our next class.